the
What's
DanYo&Tita podcast.
Yo,
What episode is 14?
14.
14.
Man, we getting old.
Yep.
Teenager already?
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Tita. Aisha.
I'm Dip.
Nathan Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the building.
Yeah.
Call this man a leader.
Yes,
This
definitely.
man's a leader.
Mm.
I don't even know how to break it down. It's a lot. It's a lot. How would you break it down, dude?
Man, he's definitely a motivator and somebody that's making a difference in the community out here in Phoenix and getting people on the right track and helping out with drug prevention and with his community help and outreach with that. And we want to talk about
as well.
those things. Yeah. And he's also a DJ. So you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? We got to talk about that and how he came into that. And also we're from the Illinois, both of us from Illinois.
right.
So yeah,
They gotta mention that.
Yeah, man.
Illinois represent.
Definitely. So I think we went to high school together.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. So old school.
Let the world know who that man is.
Definitely. So we got Shomari Jackson over here.
Got that clap.
Welcome to the show, brother.
I appreciate y'all for having me out today, man.
Man,
it's a good look
Yeah.
for us to support one another, right?
definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely.
You know, y'all bringing me out here, but it's a good look on y'all behalf to see what y'all doing here, getting together, starting y'all own ventures, and
Most definitely.
you know, any way that I can support y'all as well, just let me know.
Definitely
Most
that
definitely.
happen.
I
That's what we try
appreciate
to do.
Most definitely. Yep. Definitely appreciate people like you, man. It's deep in the community. You know, you're the one that makes the impact. You know, we just follow your lead, basically. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I'm trying, man. You know, sometimes it's an uphill battle, but you know, you gotta stay steady and be patient and be humble. You know what I'm saying? And have a lot of humility when you're out there doing it, because you get a lot of doors closed in your face because some of the system don't want you doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to be blatantly tell you they don't want you to. They're just going to close the door in your face. So,
Right.
you know, I'm out here trying to make the right connections, connecting people with people like y'all. Got some other homies that doing the same thing out here. So young cats, young brothers, you know, just stepping up to the plate, man, and being potential leaders and motivators, like Dip said.
Right.
Definitely. Yep. And let's talk a little bit about your Southwest Behavior and Health Services and what exactly you guys is the goal for the community.
Cool. I think, you know, Southwest Behavioral and Health Services, I started working there as a prevention specialist in 2013 after I graduated with my bachelor's from ASU.
Okay.
It was kind of an entry level
Let's
position.
get a clap for that right there.
Yeah.
Let's do a
Appreciate
clap.
that.
Educated brother.
Appreciate that.
Let's get a clap for that.
Try to keep the education pumping.
Definitely, man.
But I started out there as a prevention specialist, so you know, I got trained in some education curriculums that focused on how to teach young kids, primarily the areas that are underserved, look like us, brown and black people,
Right.
that a lot of the resources don't go to. So I was delivering a resistance skills curriculum.
Okay.
And I did that for about 2 or 3 years in almost every school in Roosevelt School District down on the south side. So I started building a lot of connections. You know, it's a behavioral health organization. We have an outpatient clinic. So everywhere I went when I was working with these schools, I could bring in clinicians to the, you know, setting up the establishing counseling services at those schools. So I did that for about 3 or 4 years. And then we ended up getting a federal grant from the Office of National Drug Control Policy that actually funds us for 10 years to implement what is called the Drug Free Communities Block Grant.
Okay.
And
dope.
it's funded for
Awesome.
10 years for us to work inside South Mountain,
Wow.
Man.
specifically within those 3 zip codes,
Mhm.
85040, 041, and 042, to implement a host of strategies,
Right.
right? That includes this whole community model
Right.
of a way that we reduce youth substance use.
Right.
So we're charged by the federal government to reduce drug use, alcohol use,
Mhm.
specifically in South Mountain. So I ended up going back to ASU, getting my master's degree.
Wow.
We're gonna get another hand clap for that. Appreciate it.
Master.
I think I'm done at this point. But never done educating myself. But as
Right.
far as the schooling, I think I'm done. But when I graduated there, luckily we got that grant,
Mm-hmm.
and so I got promoted into being the Drug Free Communities Project coordinator.
Wow.
Nice.
So it was a big step for Southwest Behavioral and Health Services. They had really never had a extensive grant like this, over $1 million
Wow.
for the next 10 years to implement strategies. And specifically, we're trying to reduce substance use every year. Right?
Mhm.
We do a lot of surveys. We do a lot of data. We
Right.
work with the state that collects data,
Mhm.
and we aggregate that data and we see where our rates are going down or going up, and then we respond accordingly, right? And we do that in specific ways in South Mountain under that grant.
Mm-hmm.
First thing we do is we provide what we call public information and social marketing. So the same way that drug companies are advertising, tobacco companies are
Right,
advertising, we go into the community and advertise what are the risks and consequences.
Right.
What are the truths about drug
Right.
and alcohol use?
Right.
And then we do a lot of community educations where we are hosting forums and conferences and events, community education
The mic.
to parents, to kids,
Down a little bit.
law enforcement, all different kinds of entities in South Mountain. We educate on a host of different, it's not just substance use, right? We go into all kinds of things like entrepreneurship,
Okay.
what trauma looks like, how community trauma has affected our communities, the historical trauma,
Right.
behavioral health. We focus on a lot of things to educate our community so they have the tools and the skills to raise their kids, talk to their kids,
Right.
Right.
use their experiences to help their children understand like what's coming,
Right.
growing up. And then one of the biggest things and what I'm really passionate about is we do a host of youth development, youth leadership.
Okay.
We host youth councils where we specifically work with students to develop them into leaders within their communities. And
Okay.
when I say communities, I mean at their schools,
Right.
right? We have a group at South Mountain High School. We have about 20 students there.
Oh.
Cesar Chavez High School, we have about 20, 30 students
Wow.
there.
Building.
The South Mountain Community Library, I got about 20 to 30 students there.
Wow.
And then a host of middle schools where we work with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, just kind of developing them into young leaders so they can get ready to make a impression on their peers and within their community, right?
Definitely. And that's what's important. And like I did read that that Arizona is one of the top states when it comes to the drug opioid crisis.
Yeah.
They've lost one of the highest amount of people have died in this state, unfortunately. So preventing that and fighting that is definitely important here in Arizona.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I commend you for that fight and taking that on, man. That's dope. And I think that's awesome and
We
definitely
need
something
more
we
people
need,
doing stuff
especially
like
on the
that.
south side
Yeah.
where a lot of people like us are concentrated.
Yeah.
Well, in particular, on the South Side, man, it's a little.
That's where we at too.
That's where we at.
Yeah.
Right.
But the good thing about the funding that I got, it
Mhm.
allows me to kind of think outside the box on
Right.
how I approach our communities, because a lot of the strategies not necessarily work the same in every community. So, you know, the conversations are a little different when I'm working with young Black kids or young Hispanic kids, you know, like the traumas from the community and things like the war on drugs have affected us differently, right? The resources are different, right? You know, we're constantly getting arrested for things that other communities are getting benefiting off of funding for. So my conversations are a lot different than my colleagues in other communities. So I'm passionate about working on the South Side. Over the last 6 months, I've probably gotten 6 job opportunities, right? People trying to get me, but I'm committed. I'm trying to stay the course, and you know, it's bigger than just.
It's more of a vision.
It's I got to see this through, right?
Definitely.
You know, until the goal of what I'm trying to do is make those that are in the community and the funding and the access and the resources, I'm trying to make the community sustainable. So whenever this funding goes away, then they know how to do it for themselves, right? So I'm constantly bringing parents and teachers and principals and city officials. So we have to work within 12 different sectors of a community. It's required by our funders, right? In DC, that we got to work with schools, parents, youth, healthcare, businesses, media, like y'all, right? So I have to have them at the table. And the goal is that for over the next 10 years, we all working together. When the funding go away, so I facilitate the South Mountain Works Coalition. And they're all at the table. We meet every second Friday of the month at the South Mountain Community Library. And its doors are always open. But the goal at the end of those 10 years is for that coalition to be up and running by itself. Right? It's self-sufficient. It's got funding opportunities. It's got donations in kind. So yeah, I'm just passionate about the job I'm doing, man. And you know, I've worked with thousands of kids, man, that look like me. And to see those light bulbs click on, it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, I get them when they're freshmen, and by senior year, it's finally clicking. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I've never kicked a student out of any of my groups. You know, no matter what they've done, and I've had students do all kinds of stuff. You know, like I'm always there, and I always tell them that I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you when you are experiencing these you know, decisions, and you're making poor decisions, and you need somebody to turn to. Like, this is what I'm.
That's what they need. They need that motivation, that big brother role.
Man.
They need that.
Definitely.
And I know
things are important.
From where we're from, I know that we missed out on those type of opportunities, and we may not have had I know I did not have the role models to make those decisions. And you know what the kind of decisions I was making.
You and me both,
right,
bro.
so we both was making decisions, and we, you know what I'm saying, we passed each other, and it's cool to see where we came from and to see what you are doing now. And I think that is, man, it's a beautiful thing, man.
You were born in East St. Louis, wasn't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so was I. So coming from that
He's
side of the track, man, and being even you know, being in a place like Edwardsville and growing up where, you know, it was a pretty comfortable place to grow up, but
it was culture shock though.
It was culture shock, you know, not having a father in my life. And you know, those that were influences on me were already in the game. You know what I'm saying? So that really took a hold of me. And taught me some things that I had to navigate. And it's a blessing to have us here, you know, chopping it up like this on the other side after all that we've been through.
I know that you can tell these kids that from, you know what I'm saying, from past experiences, and not just talking out your ass on situations. You have been there, you know what's going on, and you know how these streets are going. So, and that's good also because you know, kids, you know, they see through those things, and some people, they can't talk from that point of view and be able to see both sides, and that you can bring, and I know that helps a lot.
Well, you said it right there, right? They see through it, man.
Oh, definitely.
If you come at them and they'll see right through you if you ain't
No.
if you ain't been there and you're trying to tell them what to do.
Right.
Like, you know, a lot of the times, man, one of the group at South Mountain, right? I don't even like all last year, man. I just took, so I was working with the school, and they were sending me some students that were you know, kind of getting in trouble at school, and I just opened up a space for them to have conversations on what life meant to them, and the things that matter to them, with no judgment, no agenda, you know, and the things that I've been trying to do on campus, like host these conversations and stuff. And have been doing it for 4 or 5 years, but these students that I got, and just me giving them the space to open up and talk amongst themselves, and having no judgment and putting no stigma on them for the things that they did. They turned my initiatives, where I was getting maybe 75, 80 students to participate. Man, they took what I was trying to do, and they have 400 students volunteer through their lunch to come into the auditorium in the pod at South Mountain High School and have a conversation amongst themselves. We caught the dean, we kept the deans out, we kept the principals out, and they chopped it up amongst themselves. And these are students that are necessarily not the most engaged in school and things. So it's just a blessing to be in that position to help them understand their role in all of this. You know, I get to work with some beautiful young people, man, that have bright futures ahead of them. So
I seen you you received the award last year. Was it the HEAAL, or which one?
What award was
Oh,
that?
you with the bullying, your anticipation.
I don't even
You
know.
remember?
I know I was nominated for an award at what was the name of that organization? Too Black for
It could have been nomination. Yeah.
Too Black for Society.
That's okay.
Yeah. They nominated me for an award, so that was an honor. I don't know about the bullying, but I always tell everybody, man, I don't do this for the glory, man. Like that ain't what I'm here for, man. Like it feel nice to get recognized, but it feel better to get recognized by y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
To have y'all come up here and let me speak my truth and highlight the things that I'm trying to do in the community.
Well, you always knew that you're young brothers. So did you always knew that you was gonna go this direction in your life, or?
Nah, man. Nah. I moved out.
What was the turning point?
I moved out here in 2009, and I was trying to get away from a life. I mean, you know what the Ville is, man. Like you know, it's easy to get stuck in doing certain things, and I had to. What the turning point for me was, my kinfolk got arrested. You know what I'm saying? Had to do 10 years in the Fed for a host of different things. You know what I'm saying? My brother ended up getting arrested doing 6 months, 4 or 6 months, something like that. And because I was affiliated, I got spooked. Right. And spooked in a lot of different ways, man. I was dealing with people that were probably jackers and killers, and you know, and then you know, me looking up, I was like, man, how am I here? And how do I get out of here? So you know, it took me a long time to try to navigate it took me about a year of sitting on my front porch and praying a lot and talking to my mom a lot. And you know, eventually it was just either you stay here, go to jail, end up dead, or you get away, man, and try to start over. And luckily my dad has lived out here all my life, so I've been coming out to Phoenix since I was 12, 13, 14 years old, back and forth in the summer times. So it was an easy outlet. I called my dad, was like, hey, like, this is what's happening, this is where I'm at. I need to get it together, and I need to get away from here. So luckily he let me come out here And you know, I lived with him for about 6 months. 6 months later, jumped into school, just finished up in 2017, and just rearranged everything,
Yeah,
man.
man.
So I never intended to move in this direction, right?
Right.
Like it wasn't until I was maybe like 2 or 3 years into college,
Mhm.
and I had some really good mentors that saw potential in me. I was volunteering in their lab. A gentleman, a president's professor by the name of Dr. Jose Inanez,
Mhm.
and Dr. Perla Vargas. They kind of took me under their wings and kind of taught me how to run their laboratories and do research. And then I started falling in love with just helping, right? And
Mhm.
learning the importance of, um, you know, community health,
Right.
and how people of color and marginalized communities,
Right.
their health is just, you know, the average life expectancy because of these health issues
Yeah.
keep us dying earlier.
Definitely.
So I started kind of falling in love with that. And then particularly we started a program at ASU that was called Arizona State University Mentoring Program,
Wow.
where we started working within Phoenix Union High School District with students and giving them the tools to access and succeed at college.
Mhm.
And that's where it started to spark for me,
Okay.
right? Every Saturday I was giving up my time to go and teach these kids about computer skills and literary skills and FAFSAs and financial aid.
Wow.
And I remember Dr. Nunez pulled me to the side and said, hey, like, you're really good at this and you're really good at that, and you should pursue that.
Mhm.
Right.
And ever since then, I just kind of kept moving forward. And then this is where I'm at, man, and this is what I'm passionate about.
Definitely.
He wasn't doing this.
Um, I don't know. I'm a big advocate for education. You know what I'm saying? I very well may be a teacher or something.
Right.
You know, I understand the importance of having good teachers. I've seen some really bad ones
Yes.
out here.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so
Definitely some bad
so
shit.
a good
Yeah.
teacher can just change the game for a
Yeah.
student, man.
They need that.
It can definitely make or break whether or not a student pays attention or actually wants to learn.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Before.
That motivation.
We're not
Yeah.
supposed to call them parents, but they are like parents away.
Yeah.
They it's 8 hours of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you with them eight hours a day. You
Mhm.
go
Yeah.
home, you got 3 or 4 hours before you got to go to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
I would probably maybe be an educator or something, but you know, my first love was always music. So I've always DJ'd since I was about, you know, 24, 25,
Wow,
and I
okay.
still do to this day.
Got them skills.
So I would probably maybe be doing that more
Right.
if I had to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you know, I try to keep busy, man.
And you still DJing to this day.
Yeah,
still, huh?
Yeah.
I still DJ.
That's tight, man.
Yeah,
What's up?
That's it.
yeah, I do
I
all
know,
kinds of stuff.
do?
What'd you say?
What don't you do? I mean, you
I
know,
can probably
you go to
name a couple
school.
things.
He
Man.
wears a lot of hats. Man.
yeah, man.
And I know one of your homies back in the day that you probably started DJing with passed away a couple years. Big D. I want to give a shout out to him. I know he had you started out with probably with him. I know you guys used to be doing a lot of things back in the day with your productions and things you used to do. So I
Yeah,
want to give a
man.
shout to him. And I was what you think about that situation with him and dying so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Mello was a big impact on my life, man. Like, he was my oldest friend from Edwardsville.
Mhm.
We actually were raised on the same 14th Street and State
Oh,
in East St. Louis.
Wow,
So when
wow.
I was 2 years old, me and Mello were running down the street
Right.
acting up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when it all circled back around and we ended up in Cottonwood,
Right.
and we realized that, hey, we knew each other. Like,
Mhm.
Mello was my oldest friend, so he had a really big impact on me for music. You know, we did a lot of songs together.
Yeah.
We recorded together.
Right.
We performed together.
I remember seeing performances of you guys.
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
so-
man. Me and Mello used to chop it up, man. You know, he was a good brother, man. Always very vocal. Never held back on his opinions, and you know, he had some what people would think fairly radical thoughts about how society is that I could appreciate, man. Some would call them conspiracy theories, but I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that. But you know, him passing away at such an early age because of health issues, man. He had just moved to California, so we were connecting a lot via phone, trying to get to one another, and we had a lot of conversations via text and Facebook messengers. You know, he was just really trying to move in a direction like all of us, man, trying to do better for his community, do better for his kids. And I often go back and look at those messages and reminisce about my guy, man. But you know, it's important that you know, we take our health thing serious,
Very
man.
serious.
But you know, at the same time, because of the way the system's set up, it's hard for a lot of us to focus on health, right? Like
it's trying to pay the bills, right?
I'm not necessarily sure, but he had some serious health issues.
Yeah, we're trying to. Me and Tita, we're definitely trying to get our health right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, man, it's a factor.
It's
a
important.
factor.
Yeah, it's
I
definitely
mean,
important.
he passed away in his late 30s. You know what I mean? So it's scary. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about it because I knew how big of a factor he was in your life and doing DJing and I know you guys were always cool and everything.
Man.
And I just wanted to talk about him and say rest in peace to the homie.
Yeah.
And another homie, since you hear Kyle Dickerson passed away a month ago or so in St. Louis. He was in a situation in St. Louis, and you know how it is out there. So he died in the hands of violence, which is terrible. And I want to say rest in peace to him and to his and rest in peace to his family and everything.
I appreciate that, man.
And you know, it's tough out there, man. You know, and I'm happy to see you here. You know, we had to make a difference and get up out of there, and that's why I want to bring you on, because you make such a difference in this community, and you make such a difference to so many kids' lives. And I just wanted to bring you on to let other people know that and see that you can come from bad circumstances, get yourself educated, and you become a leader. And to me, you are a candidate to become a councilman, or you know what I'm saying, something like that in the city. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel about you.
I appreciate that.
That's how I feel about you, bro.
Yeah,
man. I mean, for real.
Take that.
And you can, with that, you become something in the future. I believe that's what you're going to be.
You're
know what
exactly
I mean?
what these kids can relate to.
Right.
That's what we need, relatable people speaking to the
Definitely.
kids.
We need, and you're a leader, and that's what I mean. We need leaders who've been there and making the difference. So I appreciate
really
you, bro, and that's why I want to bring you on here.
Definitely. You see?
All right.
Deep.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sorry to get so deep
No,
on
man.
y'all.
No, man.
No, that's
It's good.
bro. That's exactly what this podcast is. We want to spotlight the people that's actually making the change in the community.
Definitely.
And you're doing above what what a lot of people are doing. So we want to make sure people know who you are, and you're helping the community, man. You're making better.
Definitely.
So, definitely. So are we doing the game today?
You got your trivia today?
Are we doing the game today?
I think
Okay.
I think our trivia game this week is sports trivia.
Oh,
Okay, let's see how he does.
So I think I got like 4 people here, 3 people at least
Okay.
to help you out. If
So,
they
okay.
No,
at least 2.
Do
At
I get
least
how
2.
many lifelines I get?
So far, I mean, if Daniel knows anything, you got 3. If not, you got 2.
So if how many questions you gonna get?
You got 5 questions.
5 questions.
Best 3 out of 5.
So you gotta get 3 right out of the 5, and we'll donate $50 to your foundation or charity.
Your favorite charity.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1.
There you go.
Which is the only American football team to go a whole season undefeated, including the Super Bowl?
Oh, that's an easy one.
He's like, is it though?
That's an easy one.
You need that lifeline.
You got
You need the lifeline already?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm gonna take this lifeline. How many I get?
You got
All
3.
five? Okay, yeah. Let me take this lifeline.
It's the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
What year?
Dolphins?
Well, yeah. Oh, I know.
You
I
didn't
think I
say
know
the
the year.
year.
I know
72 Dolphins.
72.
There you
72.
go.
Yeah, I
Hold on,
wouldn't
that's
know
not
that.
fair.
I wouldn't have
You can't
known
get the
that.
lifeline off of that one.
Yeah, final
So,
answer. Miami Dolphins.
You got that right
You only get to use lifeline twice. Though.
there. Yeah. Okay. So you only got.
Five
So you only got to get one right, basically. By what's up?
Two lifelines and a phone call or something.
All right. Okay.
Question number 2. Which American football team won the first 2 Super Bowls in 1967 and 1968?
I think that's an easy one too.
Oh man, you come with the.
Do I know that
Sports
one?
trivia.
Oh, yeah.
I know that one.
I'm not in it because she told me the answer.
Okay.
He's always honest. He's so honest. I swear, dude, you're so honest.
Y'all don't look like y'all know this one.
I'm thinking 2 teams, but I don't know for sure on that
I only
one.
got one team.
I got 2 teams in mind, but I'm not for sure.
Mhm.
So don't use my line.
Time is running out.
What's your one team?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't them.
What?
Yes, it was the
It
Packers.
was?
It was the
Oh,
Packers. I
okay.
was gonna go with the Steelers.
I was gonna, okay.
I'm 2 in.
He's on 2.
Do it.
But that's
Now
your,
You got to
Can
get one
we-
more
can we-
right.
Life
Can
on-
we do
life
something
on
like
gone.
ice skating or something?
So all your lifelines are gone. So you have to.
Okay. Make it an easy one. Like Jordan or something.
Which boxer inflicted Muhammad Ali's first defeat in professional boxing? And
Oh.
what year?
Man, what year?
The
The
year
year's
is
the one.
hard.
Yeah,
The year is hard. I couldn't remember this shit.
I don't know. I
either,
don't know the
man.
year. I don't know the
I
year.
Was
was
that the Rumble in the Jungle?
No. Wait. No.
Now you got me good.
What was the year, though?
Hold up. Give me a sec.
You know what?
You
No.
got 10 seconds.
Wasn't Larry on?
Oh.
5,
What's it from? Yeah.
Even know the year.
3.
I don't know the year.
I
The
don't
year
know
don't
the-
matter.
Do you at least know the person?
Joe Frazier?
Joe Frazier.
Yeah, I know that, but it was.
There we go. You got it.
You gotta have a point for that.
Let me go with
I'm gonna have to watch out.
the year 77.
He's all like,
I don't even know.
74.
Ah, you was close.
75.
Nah, it was 71.
Oh, 71.
Wow.
I thought it was 74. My bad.
71.
I gotta get you.
No, that's right, wasn't it?
No, you got it wrong.
No, he got it right. He said Joe Frazier.
No, it's half a point though.
Yeah.
That's only half
Oh,
a
the
point.
year.
Okay.
Damn, I was
Yeah.
born in
You tough,
77.
man.
Come on, give me a break here.
That's half a point. That's half a
all
point. I get another
Tough.
half a point.
All right. So, which NFL team appeared in 4 consecutive Super
This one should
Bowls
be easy.
from 1991 to 1994
That's easy money.
and lost them all?
I think Beyonce.
Nah, man, no, you can't
You know
give them
this
no
one.
lifelines.
Okay.
Lifelines is over.
91 to 94.
That's easy money. That's
It,
easy.
it could have only been the boys.
Yeah.
Right.
Who was the boys?
Cowboys.
No.
No.
That's
No.
wrong.
Oh, that's
It was
wrong.
wrong.
With the buttons.
It wasn't the Cowboys?
It wasn't
Nope.
the Cowboys.
Yes,
They won. They won.
What?
One was with,
It's about being
Yeah.
responsible.
they won then. They beat them
Oh,
twice.
I know who it is.
They beat them twice
I
in the
know who it
Super
is
Bowl. The
now.
Cowboys met them twice in the Super Bowl
Nah,
back then.
don't say that.
No fights over there.
I know who it is now.
Right.
Okay.
There's this
They gonna break out
this
this song
I'm
and-
first
Hey.
on 94.
Yeah.
But I know who it is now. I know who it is now.
No, the answer is
But
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo
yeah,
Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Hey, my
no.
Bills.
Yeah,
Look at you with the
He was
candy
trying-
pay my
Yeah,
bills.
yeah, yeah. It was- it was-
I don't want bills.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking,
So you got one wrong.
okay.
And all the
Let's bring
rest.
it.
It's over. It's over.
But y'all,
You
let
gotta have a point on the
Oh,
other
you got
one.
one more.
Oh, okay. So,
So
we
you
get this
you
one.
get the last one.
You gotta get half the point.
You
Yeah.
gotta get half the point at least.
Oh, y'all gonna be making me pull my sports card over here.
Of course, of course. As of December 2016, which NFL team has won the most
No, so that's what
Super
it said.
Bowls?
Oh, yeah.
And
know-
with
you know
how
this
many?
You know this. You just said them a minute ago.
Cowboys.
No. The first one you said.
What was
You
it?
got one more guess. The first one you said.
What did I say?
What was the question again?
The question is,
Who won the most
as
Super
of
Bowls?
December
Oh, the
2016,
Steelers.
There you go.
and how many wins?
How many wins?
We got
How
half,
many
we got
wins?
half the
Super
point.
Bowl?
Half a point. That means I win.
That's all I needed right there.
That means I win. But I'm a guess 8 Super Bowls.
No.
Six.
Six. Yeah.
Well, damn, the New England Patriots got 6.
Yeah, they do now, but it was
They do
as
now,
of
been
2016.
before.
Oh, that's a
Yeah, yeah.
2016. Okay.
Mhm.
That was
All
your
right.
that was your clue right there.
Yeah, I don't even really fuck with
Yes,
super football. So where the Jordan questions at? Where the Laker questions at? What's up? Where the bonus questions?
Yeah. Let's
All
do
right,
this
so
real
we
quick.
get to you.
Let's do this real quick. We don't do shout out roulette no more because we're actually looking for sponsors for the podcast. But
Mhm.
this one I thought was important to shout out. But don't we usually don't shout out nobody.
No.
That's all.
No, we need sponsors.
I want to give a
Pay
shout
some
out to who was it? Brenton Family Dental.
Wow.
They're a black owned dentistry downtown Phoenix, trusted family dentistry serving Midtown Phoenix, Arizona. You can contact them at 602-293-8073 or visit them at 59 East Lexington Ave, Phoenix, Arizona 85012. And their website is brentonfam.com. They're like I said, they're a black owned new dental office downtown.
Go get your mouth fixed, your mouth.
They also
Cavities and all, huh?
they're actually, if you don't have insurance, they can work with you even if you don't have insurance.
Okay.
They have an in-house plan called Brenton Family Dental Plan.
Mm-hmm.
$99 and you are enrolled and covered for the year.
Does it say credit? What type of credit you have to have? Bad credit, no credit? It
No,
don't
it
matter.
just says they have the plan.
Okay.
Just doesn't say anything about credit. So they have $99. You're enrolled and covered for the year.
Wow.
You get 2 free cleanings, exams, and X-rays, up to 60% off for certain treatments as well.
Oh, that's important, man. Get
So
those cleanings.
definitely
Yeah,
check
it
them
is.
out because me and Tita are definitely gonna head over there
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
get it. Definitely.
Y'all gonna set up with the 99 plan and everything?
Nah, I got insurance, brother.
Oh.
Now it's
I
might have to
Yeah.
set up with that
But definitely,
99
man,
plan.
It's important.
You'll have insurance.
Important to keep your mouth clean. Check them out, man. Brenton Family Dental. Check
Yeah,
them
that's
out.
cool. That's dope, man.
Black
That's dope.
owned
Black
business.
owned.
That's what's up.
Most definitely. Get to my man Nate the Great.
Oh, it's my sit there now.
Yeah, yep.
City F down. Today City F down goes to 3 students from Emmanuel Christian Private School. These are the 3 white students who held down a black girl. Her name is Amari Allen. I'm sorry. Held her down and cut her dreads off forcibly. No apparent reason at all. She didn't do anything to them. She
Wow.
wasn't provoking them. But they decided to bully her, hold her. They covered her mouth down, cut her dreads off, and let her on her way. You 3 boys could shut the hell up. Sit the F down, and you guys are pieces of shit. I'm sorry to talk to kids like that, but that's trash.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just
That's-
wrong.
that's
I
some
saw
bad
that.
behavior,
Like
right?
she was
And
all crying and
yeah,
stuff.
that's-
They pinned her down, held her down.
The parents, where are they learning this stuff from? Like, it's a
They
learned
learn it,
behavior.
man.
That's-
I
yeah.
talked about this on This Week on our Facebook. They learn it from the parents. They learn it from Americans. We're violent.
We are.
We're a violent society.
Very.
You know what I mean? When we stop being a violent society, our kids will stop being a violent society. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna just start with them. I see people
When the
online
mama's
talking
going
about,
out there, right?
right, they bullying my kid. I'm gonna go out there and fuck them up.
Yeah.
Like, do you hear what you just said? How is that gonna help anything?
It's gonna
It
make
doesn't
you feel
help.
better, though.
It's gonna make you feel better, but violence does not help violence. It does not stop violence.
I
The
wish a
kids are
motherfucker would.
Right, the kids are seeing that.
Can't fight fire with fire.
Right, unfortunately you can't, man. You
But I
can't
will
be an
douse that
adult.
motherfucker. You're not gonna bully my kids.
I understand.
Let that be my kid.
I-
My daughter.
man, I understand where kids are coming from, but
Gonna
look,
take the
dude,
L.
I probably told the story before. My mother locked the door on me, man, and
Yeah.
watched me get beat up.
Yeah.
I'm running to the door. You know what I'm saying? She was like,
Handle that.
Handle that.
either you gonna handle it or you gonna be going through it your whole life.
Right.
These people are not good people, man. we're expecting kids to stop bullying in a country that's one of the most violent countries in the world.
We are we're a bully country.
Man.
These are all learned behaviors,
Right.
Like 14,
Exactly.
13, 15-year-old kids doing what they learned from their
They
parents.
doing what they learn.
The kids' first role model, their parents.
Right.
They mimic them and you copy every move.
They definitely do.
Not only the first, the most influential.
The most influential.
Yep.
Right?
Most influential.
And then another fact around that, your vice president,
Mm-hmm.
Michael
The
Pence,
biggest bully.
his wife is a teacher at that school.
Wow.
Damn.
And you think you
wow.
done heard anything about that?
No, they're not gonna
Yes,
bring that
that
up.
was a plot twist. Like,
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, they wasn't gonna mention that.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
I didn't even know that.
It's a Christian school in Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a Christian school too?
Yeah.
That was my.
Well, that's the those are the most the worst schools. And
Christian
those
What's
those
going on
people
here?
usually are they have the most problems with racism, and they supposed to be Christians. But we know the KKK was a Christian group. It's a Christian organization, so it's not that. You know what I mean? Just being Christian doesn't just give you a pass, man.
No, not
No,
at all.
it
You know what I
doesn't.
mean?
Yeah.
These things
It's how you
they
treat
you know right exactly. And these schools are horrible and they racist and I don't know if I would send my school to a Christian school, my kid to it, but I don't have kids, but I don't know if I would.
You wouldn't.
To a Christian school? No, I don't know if I
They
would.
gotta go to public.
Yeah, I would rather just, you know what I mean?
Let's get at it.
Look, man, deal with this life out here.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's going to be tough regardless,
regardless. Yeah.
you know?
That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. Oh man, that thing go deep, don't it?
Yeah, man.
All right, we're
They
gonna
had
get
all
into
the plot twists with that one.
definitely. Let's get into the word on the street news.
What's the word this week?
America has now categorized white nationalism as a threat to the Department of Homeland Security.
After
Now,
200 years.
After all the
late.
years, it's finally
Time.
Right.
Yeah, shoot. Why did it take so long? I don't understand.
Well, they still haven't apologized for slavery
Still,
as a government.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're late because they know this is a big part of their base, and
Mhm.
they're disrespecting them. So now it's a little more vogue to stand up. But man, we wish it was like that in the 50s and 60s, and they were doing this type stuff.
Yep.
I think the demographics of America is changing, right? I think maybe a few years back, the white male, white woman was officially for the first time ever in America
Mm-hmm.
considered the minority.
Right.
When you
Right.
take all the
All
other
minorities.
I don't even like using the word minority. I'm gonna say global majority,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right.
When for the first time, I think a few years back, we were 51% of the population.
Definitely.
So they gotta move with the times, man. And like you just said, America's never really apologized for slavery, but every other country that had involved has given reparations. Australia, Northern
The
Europe,
Dutch.
Germany.
the Dutch,
Mhm.
Germany,
Mhm.
all of them have paid reparations
Yep.
for what happened with slavery. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it'd be
Everybody but us.
Right. Well, no, we've given reparations to the Japanese for the internment camps. We give them. I think we helped out for the Jews for their
Yeah, we
situation.
did, but not. I'm
We helped a
talking
lot of
about
them.
us.
Yep.
But for black people, no, it's
Right.
always
No.
an excuse. There's always a
No,
reason
they're not
why they
gonna-
can't do it, and
Yep.
that's the
That's
reason
what
why.
That's what it is. Yep.
The 40 acres and the mule was promised, but I believe that the president, I can't remember exactly who. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was really a real
No,
promise.
it was
No,
a
it
real.
was- it
No, that was a
promised.
real
They were
promise.
supposed.
Yeah.
They
But,
were supposed to get
Somebody
land.
stopped it, right?
It was stopped because he didn't win the presidency or he didn't get into office, or the person who came, I think, after him, Jackson,
Yeah.
came after him, and he took all those laws and just
And
ripped
wiped
it
them
out.
away.
Yeah.
Kind of
Wiped
how
them all
like
out.
our current president doing.
Right.
Right.
So we had I think it was like 1905, right after slavery to about 05, 10, where we had a lot of prospering, a lot of people in government. I mean, we were getting hanged and
Yeah.
killed, and KKK was still there, but we did have a lot of prosper. I think Killer Mike talked about it on his panel,
It was on
where
the
he
revolt, right?
where he was
Yeah.
saying that that was a prosperous time and probably the greatest time for America. I didn't agree because we still were getting hanged and we still couldn't walk around the country like we want to. You know what I mean? So I didn't agree with that. But when it comes to building and people in office at that time, it was a prosperous time for us.
Well,
Very.
also, you know, because of the slavery, we were really the only skilled laborers in America.
Mhm.
So during that time, if they wanted something to be done, they came and employed
They had to talk
us.
to us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's a weird situation, man.
Yep.
That needs to be spoke on
Definitely.
a lot.
Always.
Empire right now. I feel like since we were the only skilled laborers at that time during that period, we should have
Built something from that labor. Man, we're taken advantage of, man.
Yeah, yep.
Many people would take advantage of who couldn't read and
Couldn't
who couldn't write, but they knew how to was skilled at certain labors and couldn't take advantage of the business opportunities that the other people would have taken advantage of.
Right.
Like to grow rice, we taught them how to grow rice. Slaves taught them how to grow rice. They didn't know how to grow rice in this atmosphere.
They didn't know how to grow
because
tobacco
we knew how
either.
to rice, we knew how to grow rice
Soybean.
in this atmosphere. We taught them these things that we could have kept to our fucking self and capitalized on these things, and we would have been on the front of H&R Rice and on the front of the rice. You know what I mean? And we smiling. It's just only Uncle Ben. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We wouldn't.
That's
We wouldn't just have
We
Uncle
built a
Ben
lot of this
Right.
country.
That's all.
We built this
stuff you
country.
could just pop in the microwave and keep on going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So,
This two stories right here. A submarine carrying 12,000 pounds of cocaine worth 165 million seized by the Coast Guard in the Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Also, a couple received almost 550,000 worth of ecstasy. That's 25,000 ecstasy tablets in the mail mistaken from the Netherlands. So, drugs is definitely crazy out here.
I don't know, man. Make drugs legal, man. Just make it all legal.
Portugal made drugs legal.
Man.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And they seeing differences.
Yes. Like they
And-
made
and-
all
and it's-
drugs legal.
And
Yeah,
it's
man.
not just
Everything.
about making it legal, right? It's about providing the resources so you
Mhm.
can do
Right.
it.
They provide
So
all
And
you
the
know
clean-
tools.
you can
In
go
clean
places,
environments. Yep.
like say you get a building
Yep.
and people can come in here and be in a sterile environment and use.
Yep.
And
You-
then
Well,
the doctors come in
you
and
think-
administer
y'all
the
think
drugs
those-
for them.
Y'all think those clinics that people go to is okay?
I think it's better than having people falling out all over the streets, man.
The methadone
That's where the
clinics
crime. That's
work.
where the
and
crime
spreading
comes from.
and spreading diseases and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand. I
This-
just
that's
don't.
what it is.
AIDS, HIV, hepatitis. These are the reason why we have
I'm
these
saying,
problems.
like,
Kids
I
can find these
understand.
needles, man.
I understand the marijuana thing because that's like some medicine.
Mhm.
But the other stuff, man, I just don't.
Man, we've been
What's
fighting
the
the war on
difference
drugs.
from all these, like, you know, like those like
Ecstasy
pain
and all that.
pills. You know, what's the
Right.
difference from meth and
Yeah, there should be something.
oxytocin and stuff?
I mean,
Really,
there's
like,
definitely.
The doctor's the
If
number
you
one
think
drug
about
dealer.
it, meth would
Right,
be even,
exactly.
even better than, you know, all these like pain pills that people get hooked on and
Right.
stuff.
And that's what they're getting
Same-
hooked on
same
right now.
damage. I mean,
Right, and like when patients go to the methadone clinics, they have actual nurses that are actually administering the drug for them.
Mhm.
Whether the patient is trying to wean themselves off of a certain drug,
Mhm.
or whether or not that's the drug of choice that they choose to use.
So
That
they can get high off of methadone?
yes,
Damn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
got
thought it
the.
was just to be clean.
no,
Okay.
it's
No.
helping you wean off a drug.
Yeah.
That's what
So
they say.
they're giving you the drug to help you wean off of it, but what they're gonna do is
Lower the dose.
lower
as
the
time
dosage
comes.
that you're getting.
But-
This week you may get 50 milligrams. Next week you'll get 25.
But is it affecting? Is it
Yes,
actually?
it's affecting.
Is
For
it
some,
research?
For some, it is.
I think everybody's a little different.
Right.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Some it might take you a year to wean off that stuff,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And for others it might be a couple months. But I just think that I'm not an advocate for legal drugs, but I understand why others are, right?
Mhm.
Because you're providing an atmosphere for it to be in a controlled environment.
Right.
The war on drugs has been a complete and
It's a
utter
loss.
failure.
Yeah,
If we
Super
would have
buzz.
definitely.
pumped billions of dollars into education and environments like doctors to come out and help individuals. There was a episode in The Wire
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where he created kind of a space where everybody could just
Yeah. I
use
remember
drugs
that.
and
Right,
sell
right.
drugs
And
and
wouldn't get in trouble. for
nobody
it.
died.
Right.
Nobody got killed.
Right.
Nobody robbed. Like, even though it's make
They was like,
believe,
it's working.
but
Keep it in the area. I remember
But
They was
that.
like,
I
it's
think-
working. They was like, it worked on the show. They was
Yeah.
like, it's working. It's doing. No one's getting fucked up.
I think with billions of dollars, we could at least try
Something different. With
I
50
knew,
years
we
of the
Exactly.
same
need to
thing.
try something different,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, we definitely knew.
I'm a big
It's-
advocate for education. So
Yeah.
like break me
Yeah.
off 40, 50 mil and I can go educate a lot of individuals. Even with the legalization of marijuana, you know, like they're pumping lots and lots of money in advertising that
Yes.
affects our young people.
It
Yeah.
does,
That
that's true.
start thinking that it's harmless
Yeah.
when to use it when they're young.
Yeah.
Like you could probably counteract that advertisement if you just pump money in education and
Mhm.
Right.
provide
Yeah,
for somebody
right,
like
yeah.
me
Yeah, that's
to
true.
go into schools
Fact.
and really talk about what's up. I'm a
Right.
big proponent for education
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pumping more money into education.
I don't if you since you said I don't see no education ads.
No.
Anything
No.
promoting that.
No, not at all.
And, but I do
You
see,
used to see
I
all those
billboards of the marijuana
the
places.
Bow Wow commercials and the little Romeo commercials for college. You used to see those all the
Yeah.
time. You don't see
Oh yeah, I
those
remember.
no
Yeah,
more.
No.
yeah.
You don't
Well,
see DeVry
we-
commercials like you used
Well,
to.
the
not
thing
back in
is
the
that we can't, you can't really educate people if people aren't really trying to listen. You know what I mean? Right now,
the kids ain't.
no
Yeah.
one's really listening to people. They're just doing what they know their parents done, and that's the household is number one. And if the parents can teach, and that's the problem is right now the parents are fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And that's who they learned that from. My OG never did anything like that. So you know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen anyone do drugs and take drugs like that in my life.
Right.
So your environment is number one. The people I know that go straight into doing heroin, they started off, they mom, she was taking
Yeah.
oxys and shit,
man.
and she always taking Vicodin, and you know, now they done stole a couple Vikes from their moms, you know what I'm saying, and took them to school.
Word.
And that's the start of this shit, man.
But what do you do? Check this out. My mom. I was raised by my mother.
Mhm.
I had a situation with my stepdad, but mostly raised by my mother. She ain't do no drugs. She's strong,
Right.
teaching me. You know, I grew up nation, you know, reading books, how to eat. But I'm lonely, and me going to school and living in a bad neighborhood. I wasn't eating good. Y'all see my mom's, you know, since she healthy.
Right.
I ain't eat good. I still was dipped into the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
you don't
so
do
I can't
drugs.
blame that. No, I don't do drugs.
You're
but,
right.
But I still was influenced by outside entities.
Yeah,
you
you're
know what I
gonna
mean?
get outside influences. Nobody's gonna say that's not gonna happen, but the parental role is strong, man.
Yeah.
Whatever
definitely.
religion you're born with, that's usually the religion you still have right now.
Yeah.
You still believe that religion, whatever your parents taught you, that's what you still normally believe 9 times out of 10.
Or you take certain things from
Right. You don't just turn your back on what you've learned your whole life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True that.
You
So-
may not like turn your back, but you may kind of like put it into your new lifestyle. It's like I was raised Christian Catholic, but I don't go to church.
Right.
And it's not that I don't believe in God or anything, it's just that I don't do church. But I do believe in people that that go.
But you still call yourself a
But
Catholic, though.
but like you said, I have like the values. I bring it in. I don't follow it completely like I
Right.
like I was raised, but I still kind of follow like you say because whatever you learn is what you know, and But yeah.
Yeah,
True that.
I think the role of the parent is strong, and we definitely got to be there for our kids,
Yeah,
man.
it's
And,
definitely-
we live in a system, man, that's not set up for the majority of us to succeed,
no,
right?
definitely.
Like it's set up so all of us, and I mean black
it's
people,
traps.
white people,
Traps.
poor people,
Traps.
it's set up to keep
To
us
get
in
in
a
that trap,
cycle,
definitely.
right? And we continuously generation through generation go
Mhm.
through these cycles of trauma that keep us in violence, right? Substance use. So
Right.
these things that are happening, poor health, drug use,
Mhm.
they're only, and this is just in my eyes and from what I've kind of been looking at, it's only the result of what the system has traumatized us to be in. I bring it back to the war on drugs, man. Like there was an opportunity to really hit home in the 80s when the crack epidemic hit.
Mhm.
But the way that they pumped in the money and what they did, it traumatized the community.
It definitely did.
Right? It broke up a lot of our homes. It put a lot of us in prison
jail,
systems, right? They started making money off the backs of what was happening in the 80s with the crack epidemic.
Yeah.
And these things have just continuously put us in a cycle of re-traumatization.
Well, now we see that the customer has changed. The customer now is a rich white person from the suburbs.
Yeah,
so they don't really care what the person looks like, dog.
No.
I've been people be like, man, it's the rich versus the poor, man. We got to realize that they don't give a fuck what you look like. If you're gonna take these drugs and they're gonna make that money off these drugs, they're gonna take that money. And they don't care what community is destroyed. They're destroying white community. The white population right now, their age of the dying, what is it? Their death rates, the death rates, are lowering right now for their population because of the opium epidemic right now. Their population is, I think the average age was like 47 for white people. Like it's old, man. They're getting old, not having a lot of kids, and that's where a lot of this fear is coming from too. But the drugs is tearing the communities apart.
Definitely.
You know, we don't come from environments where we normalize these drugs. They do. And that's why it's hurting them a lot more than it's hurting us in this situation. But I don't think that we should treat them like Dave Chappelle said, and like we did them, like did us. We should try to help out and try to do the best, because next thing you know, it'll be in our community. And that's why you hear all these rappers talking about it. The rappers talking about it. They trying to push it on the kids, rapping about it and shit.
You know, places like
kids out there talking about popping mollies.
I mean, they already doing this, but I'm talking about they already doing these things. So it could get even worse, and they're doing all this heroin, and hopefully that doesn't happen.
You got to understand places like Baltimore and New York and Virginia and all these East Coast towns, like communities of colors have been ravaged by heroin use for years.
Since the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, man. And, you know, nowadays it's to the point where, you know, even our death rates are rising, because what's happening is when we get arrested and we go and get put in jail and we detox in jail and we come out of jail, if you're black or if you're brown, you got to go back to your community, right? There's no resources popping off in those communities. No. So we're having a spike in overdose rates in the black and brown communities, where when white people go back to their community, there's a lot more resources, right?
They have a job set up, they have schooling, they have a housing, they have a lot more, like you said, resources that for them that will help them than we do. That will help us.
So it's not all just black and white. I just think that you know, like you said, man, we gotta be in a position where we're willing to help anybody. You know, I think the greatest trick that America ever played on anybody was making the poor white man think that he had some kind of privilege over a poor black man.
Right.
When classism, they don't care if you're 1%er. They just don't care,
right,
man. They want your money and they want you to die.
Yeah,
and that's the bottom line, right? Period. I ain't gonna say no more after that.
Right. Yeah, I want to get into this last news story, and then we're gonna go over to new Sister Social. A man kills a driver for looking at him at a red light in Phoenix.
Shit, crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
Just for looking at him?
Just for looking at him. He shot him. Police believe a man may have shot and killed another motorist for simply looking at him while stopped at a red light. According to Phoenix police, on March 1st, 2019, Alex Mixon was driving westbound on Thunderbird Road in 30th Street. Wow, right down the street from the crib, when his truck suddenly crossed over into an eastbound lane and left way.
When did this happen?
March 1st.
Wow.
Coming to a complete stop, Mixon was taken to a hospital where he later died from his injuries. Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
Sick.
Gun violence is just
terrible, man. That's why, you know what I'm saying, I say it all the time. Everybody having guns is not a good thing. We need to have mental evaluations.
Let them be, man.
Better background checks. I'm gonna fight against guns forever. So This is just stuff like this is why I'm against it. So you know what I mean, and I just think it's terrible, and that's what my local news for that one on today.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty sad that guns have to be
yeah, man, dude, just
So
minding his
prevalent
business,
in our
man.
society in today's
Right.
time.
So easily he killed that dude. I mean, come on, man.
Like
his
we're at
life's
a
gone.
stoplight.
Right.
I mean, just
I
being
look
so
I look
fragile.
out my windows when I'm when I'm at a stoplight. I'll look both ways and I'll
Right.
look at people. Sometimes you might catch a motherfucker digging in their nose. Like you never know what you gonna see.
Yeah.
So
Actually, it's
That's
So, I mean,
crazy.
it's
You gotta
just-
man your business. That's supposed to be telling people. Don't be flipping people off.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
do
talk
things.
about it,
Don't
man.
talk when you in. Don't get into this
Let's say put your hands
fighting on
you.
the road. Don't do that, man. Just keep driving. These people are crazy.
Yeah.
Unless
Don't
you gotta defend yourself
for real,
physically,
man. Just
let
keep,
it be.
just
man.
keep driving,
Right.
Let it
man.
be. That shit
Don't fight with
easier
these
said
people.
than
And
done.
I know it's
Yeah,
easier said than because
you
I
know.
want to fuck people up.
Yeah.
But you have to, man.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I try to keep myself from flipping people off and doing things like that because I know it could go into something and I get mad and then it turns into something more. So
people,
you gotta.
you know, you don't want to be following around behind nobody.
Oh my goodness,
They
you
done
know,
did something you don't like.
you know how they are. But
What
hey,
is that?
Sister Social,
Just a
Yeah.
social.
Well, you know, this week's Sister Social, we're gonna go ahead and get on into that. What we got for this week, Tita? What we talking about?
We had a couple topics that we want to discuss and stuff. We went from like pickup lines to pet peeves. We kind of had like a mixture of like a couple of things. I'm more interested in like meal of the week, to be honest with you. I'm hungry and it's early. Tia hasn't ate.
I see you ate this banana one.
I inhaled that banana. I remember opening it. Okay.
she said I'm more interested in
But
the
she
middle of the
said,
week.
right.
She
I'm
said,
more
I want the meal
interested in
of
the
the
meal of the week this week. Well, I mean, you know, we did bring it in, so we're gonna get to
Is
that.
that right?
We're gonna get to that. So,
Right.
what's your pet peeves this week, Tita?
Oh, this week. One of them, like we were discussing, road rage. It's like you always see it, and you always see like this is gonna go so south. This is gonna go so south. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. I have the typical, pet peeve at home, like dirty clothes on the floor, so that when sometimes hurt my husband, but I love him, so I don't hurt him.
Oh my goodness.
She talking about trying to kill you over there,
I see
Daniel, for
that.
leaving dirty clothes on the floor.
She gotta throw something every time. Her topics gotta throw me in there.
She's part of my life. Why wouldn't I?
Go ahead.
Let's see what else. I don't like people taking advantage of others. Like it could be something like like in the community. It could be like like I hate people taking advantage of others. Like it's such like I will be that one person that will stop the car, get out, and like yell at them like, no, you can't do that. You can't tell them that. I will definitely do that. To this day, Daniel has seen me in action before.
Peacemaker.
Yes, I try. It's really easy to get peace.
How many fights she done tried to break up, Daniel?
Couple of some of them.
Don't do
involving-
that. They get
Some of
you,
them
let's get
involving
you
me.
beat up.
That might get you beat up.
That
Yeah,
get-
it
that-
might,
I
it
know,
might.
that
I feel
get you
like-
beat up, dog.
I feel like
I done seen
everybody-
people get
everybody
punched.
Y'all was over here
trying to-
trying to start shit, right?
I told you to stay
telling
back.
you, man.
Don't worry about it.
I'm telling you, you get punched, man.
But it's like nowadays, it's like I feel like somebody needs that
You
one
got punched
person.
before.
I got punched
Right.
before.
Yeah, I told you.
So
You'll
I'm
get-
good.
and then you want to
I'm
fight.
still standing. Oh, I'm sitting down right now, but I'm still good.
That's why I don't get into it.
And the
Yeah.
thing is that everybody needs somebody to back them up. You never know. It could be you. It could be somebody else. You could be in the wrong side of the road and you don't know that. You turn left instead of right. But you need to fight. You need to have somebody that
There's times to and there's times not.
Right.
That time it was.
I think you mentioned something to me the other day, like you don't like dirt on your pillows
Oh,
or
gosh.
in your bed.
My pillow, my
Like,
my
what's up
bed-
with that? Like,
my
who
bed
puts
has
dirt
to
in the
be-
bed? Like,
So like,
how do you do that?
crumbs, or like, let's say like
Y'all
the
eating in the
beds or
bed. Don't
something.
eat in the fucking bed.
Sometimes like
Eating
somebody
chips and shit.
grabs some kind of snacks that
Fritos and
eats on the
snacks and
bed,
shit.
and I see like my bed, and it's like I swear like if I have my bed white,
Oh,
like I'm
man.
very clean. Like the whole house could be a mess,
We in the bed.
but the bed has to be like that's like my sanctuary. Like it has to be clean. Like
Yeah.
man, there's no crumbs. I dust
You
my
have to have
bed.
that fresh sheet feeling when you get in the
Yes,
bed.
What's your biggest pet peeve? Big
My
head?
biggest pet peeve. I don't know.
What?
He's a.
I have so many.
Let's see. Like your strongest ones.
My strongest
Just
one.
give us one, please.
Just one.
One. I don't like the toilet seat being left up. I don't like having to fall into it.
You don't even
We
deal
don't
with
like
that.
it left down.
You don't
Why
even
can't
do
we-
it.
You don't
Hey,
deal
I
with
mean,
that.
you know.
What is they?
All that energy.
Nah,
we gotta do
the
to-
other day I was at work and I went into the bathroom. You know how like the ladies go in and they clean the bathrooms up or whatever. 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm half-ass paying attention to what I was doing.
Oh, that's what you get.
Right.
Right.
I fell in the toilet.
Oh man.
You know.
Why don't y'all look at what y'all sitting down
I've
on?
done that before.
I don't understand. I have never put my ass somewhere before looking where my ass about to go.
But you guys
But women do this
most of the
stuff.
time.
You forgot to put the toilet seat. Why did you look?
Especially at the public
Right,
joint.
especially they just go. Man, I
Look,
can't do that,
Fall in
man.
the water.
I wasn't paying attention. Normally, I
Nah,
grabbed the little
man.
paper and put it on the seat, but
In a public bathroom, I
this
do it
day
all.
I just was in a hurry. I was in the stall doing the dance, like couldn't unbutton my pants in
It's
time.
the
Like,
door open
Go,
faster.
yeah.
Yeah.
it was just all bad. But at least I didn't come out with toilet paper stuck to my ass.
Yeah.
So
That's a win. That's a win right
That's
there.
a dub.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So do you guys have like a pet peeve, like something that you absolutely hate?
What you got, Shomari? You got a pet peeve?
Oh man, I don't know. Pet peeves, man. I'm not a big fan of the people with super egos.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
man.
like
Super douchebags.
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
like them either.
I appreciate humbleness
Definitely.
and humility, man.
Mhm.
But maybe that's just an age thing for me,
Right.
right? I was in that mode once upon a time
Right.
where you know, I remember before I left Illinois, like I had a lot of friends telling me, man, you selfish. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I thought I was entitled to a lot.
Right.
No.
I thought because I worked for it, I could do whatever I wanted.
Right.
But nowadays those things just kind of
Irk you.
like they irk me a little bit, man.
Mhm.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be around that stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's all good to have an ego, you know what I'm saying, and be about your business. But you know, it's okay to be confident, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a good rapport to be confident. But I think at a certain point when you start thinking your shit don't stink,
Yeah.
you know, the universe gonna wake you up
Yeah,
definitely.
one
Man.
day.
I hope so.
You know, that's
Yeah.
probably mine, man.
I hope so. What is
What's your pet peeve, Dip?
my biggest pet peeve? I'm gonna say computer illiterate people.
Oh,
Damn,
he's
yeah,
throwing shots at me.
just
In-
like
in-
Hold on, just insert the whole damn Dip.
Right.
Insert.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
People
So
who
sister search is
can't
over.
send an email in 2019. People who don't know how. Man, yeah, man, it's a lot of people believe it, man. Don't know how to navigate a website in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. People who like, how do I get to Word?
Well, I mean,
How do I
know,
get to the start button?
That's
You
the-
can't be
that's the
85 years
saying.
old trying to
That's
learn
the
how to
older
work a
people.
computer.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I think you need to like put it under a certain age. If you like under 50, like
You should know, man.
You should
be
know.
on point.
Come on,
You should
man.
know.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What about you?
I'm not giving nobody no passes anymore.
Yeah, we
It's been
can't get
this shit
past
been
not
out
knowing how to
this
send
shit
an
been out
email.
for 30 years, G.
Right. You can send if you can send a text
Talk
message,
about
you
it.
can send
Right.
an email.
Right. This shit's been out for 30 years. Get with it. And black people, y'all need to get with it too, man. We need to start being in these. Ain't enough of us in tech, man. And that
Yeah.
irks me too. That's a pet peeve.
What about you, Daniel? What's your pet peeve?
Huh? I don't know.
You have a lot. I'm like, you have a lot.
Got all the pet peeve. People pouring out their cereal milk looking ass.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
We're going to leave that one alone.
I don't know, man. I don't like stuff on the floor.
Oh yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
stuff on the floor at all. Like it bothers me. I mean, I don't stuff on the like when it's like piled up.
Mhm.
I hate that. Like that bothers me.
Piles of stuff on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And what's yours?
What's yours, Nate?
I got something else, Nate. Go ahead, because I'm about to put these on blast.
Don't do
Oh,
it. The DanYo&Tita podcast is
Nah,
about,
nah,
right?
I ain't gonna put on.
No, I
I ain't gonna do it.
You gonna mess up the whole
I will still love you.
I want to have a good day. You at a restaurant.
I will still make you dinner tonight, okay?
Nah,
You know how you're gonna drink about lunch.
Right.
But
Nah, go
think I eat you for lunch because you ain't getting lunch now.
Right.
my biggest pet peeve is passive aggression.
and it don't matter if it's from my kids or from anybody. It don't matter the type of relationship. Like passive aggression is not effective communication, and so like everything don't got to be an issue. Like so, don't assume like it's gonna be an issue. Like let's talk about it. Like stop being passive aggressive. That shit is irritating.
Communication. Key.
Don't hold it in.
Don't hold it in. Don't go post it. See, don't sub me on Facebook.
Oh, I see that
Don't
all
talk
the
behind your
time.
back.
Yes, don't talk.
You go on your Facebook, and the first things are like this B and this guy, and I'm never talking to him ever again. And it's like,
did you tell him that though?
Yeah. I hate when people come up to me and ask me why I'm mad all the time too. Like, hey man, what you talking about? I'm chilling.
when we get a little frown in our face, we mad.
That's what they
automatically think.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why you got an attitude?
Like,
You got a frown on your face.
Definitely. That's normal.
That's
normal.
And then if you
how it
smile
is.
too much, they think you're weird. So.
Yep.
I've been getting it my whole life, but I can have a mean mug, man. I'm from
I call
St.
it
Louis,
resting
man.
bitch nigga face.
Right.
That's what it's called.
Hey,
Bitch nigga face.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
He done added another one in there.
I just be mugging.
He's like, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
No.
All right, so this week's meal of the week, we have turkey pinwheels. Pinwheels, yes.
Never had them
And
before.
I have pinwheels.
yeah, like so what we do is, your ingredients are you have tortillas, cream cheese, cheddar, either white or yellow, just not singles or craft cheddar cheese because that's not real cheddar.
That's not
Or
real cheese.
you can have, and also you want to add lettuce and turkey, right?
That's it.
And that's it.
Something simple.
And
Something
that's
simple.
good because the small ones you're very selective.
Mhm.
Right. You can put
Portion.
turkey, chicken, whichever lunch meat
Yeah.
Right.
that you decide to put in there, and the ingredients you can use whatever cream cheese,
Mhm.
plain, garden veggie, whatever cream cheese is your favorite that you like. You can
customize it.
you can customize it to your own liking, right?
Definitely.
So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut up for everybody, so we can go ahead and fill everybody's belly with a little bit of pinwheels today.
While we're doing, we can get into the lean perspective.
Yeah, the lean perspective this week, I wanted to talk about something that we were discussing on my Facebook page this week, which was income inequality.
Okay.
And I was talking about, I agree with Bernie Sanders on that. I don't believe that there should be any billionaires. Back in the day, I think we had one billionaire. I think Rockefeller was the only billionaire for years. He was the first and only for years.
You said there shouldn't be any.
There shouldn't be many.
Okay.
There shouldn't be any, really. It's who needs that much money, man?
Apparently them.
Well, what if you earned it?
I'll take it.
What I'm saying is, I understand you earn it. I understand that you come up with an idea or you come up with a product. You
Right.
definitely should make money for that product or that idea.
Right.
But when you get to a certain amount of money, you should be taxed so high that you can't reach those levels of being able to gouge and gorge that much money.
Right.
Because you should just be taxed. I'm not saying that it should be just pure socialism across the board in our country, but we should have more socialism programs. That we already have a lot of social programs.
Right.
If you think about everything, I mean, we use a tax code, and that's all social to help each other.
So the
build
higher
schools.
you earn, the more taxes.
The more taxes you go. I think that back in the 50s, the taxes was like 50% on the rich.
Okay.
The only thing we've been doing as for them to be able to gain more and more equitable or I'm gonna say income, they've been able to get less and less taxes. Every president that comes in there lowers the taxes for the rich. That's the first thing they do. Obama didn't do anything about it because it would have been unpopular to remove that tax rate for the rich. So he didn't move it.
Yeah.
Bush raised them. Everybody raised them. I think the last person that lowered them was Bush Senior, who raised taxes because he saw the situation was coming that he needed to raise taxes. So he did. But we need higher taxes, man. Bernie Sanders may be
that dude.
I like him. I like Bernie.
I like Bernie.
I like what
He'll
he's
be
doing.
alive long enough to
How old is Bernie though?
He's 74,
He's
72.
74, man.
Yeah. He's an old
74,
dude.
How's it looking? Is he health wise? Is he all right?
Health wise, he's doing fine, man.
Probably give us a strong
No
four.
issues? Okay.
Right, that's all we need.
But
Give us a strong four.
yeah, I think he can give us a strong 4. But
You got 4 more. You got 4 more.
so I'm saying like, because some of them presidents be going to office and they come out looking like
They get
Like, they
stressed
stressed
out.
out.
Stressed
Oh, it's
out.
definitely.
so. You
Oh, it
think
Definitely
ages you.
stressful.
him being 74 years old.
It's going to age. Hey, hopefully he can handle it.
You gonna
Trump
get
is
middle
Trump
way?
is handling it, and he's about the same age.
I don't even think.
Oh,
it's
he's the same
Trump
age?
handling
Yeah,
it,
Trump.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not handling it well,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he is showing up every day for the job. Sometimes, if you're not on the golf course. But I mean, he's
Or if you ain't reading a newspaper and watching Fox and Friends.
Or tweeting.
I mean, I like a lot of things that Bernie does, and I like a lot of his ideas, and I do believe that we need to do something about how much money that the
Right.
rich is bringing in. Jeff Bezos paid almost no taxes,
I don't understand
Amazon?
why
Yeah,
they're not
like zero.
why the billionaires and the higher people, how come, why they so mad about? You got $1 billion, bro. What you?
Yeah.
Why you
If
so
you
mad?
just get one of those billion out of the
Yeah.
400 you got,
Yeah,
Well, people
like,
look-
like the
I-
Amazon dude is worth how much? Trillion or something?
I mean, he's few
Why?
billions,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How come that don't even?
but he
That's
doesn't
not
want to
even a
give
picture
he
of your
doesn't want to
money.
give health care to his employees.
Yeah,
he just
He
took it away. at
just took it
Trader
away.
Joe's.
Definitely,
Yeah.
That's
he don't
ridiculous.
definitely.
Yeah.
He does everything within law to get away without paying his
It's
employees.
ridiculous, man.
as
Like,
much-
straight up.
They're not making 15 an hour in his warehouses. They're all making like 9 something, which
Right.
is federally okay. But damn, dude, you're making $1 billion.
He could pay his money to pay them people.
Man, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
They could be making it with the most. He has the most successful business in America right now.
Yeah, and they
They're
work hard over there. Hard
monopolizing.
over
They
there.
are monopolizing when it comes to retail online buying.
Yeah.
Changing the
Definitely.
The change
Because when you ask somebody, hey, where can I find this at, or where can I find that?
Amazon.
The first thing the
Amazon.
person says is Amazon.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
It's just automatic. That's the first place
Same-
people
same
tell you to
thing
go to
that
buy it
Walmart
online.
did,
Right.
You know, back in the 80s,
Definitely.
came through and monopolized on how you go about getting supplies. You know,
Mhm.
Monopoly
Right.
or Walmart came
Definitely.
through and put all of those little
Cheap
mom
products
and pop shops
out of business
Yeah.
because their products were so
Yep.
cheap that they could
doing
not
the same thing.
compare with their prices. So Amazon's doing the same thing, and they're right now they're knocking Walmart and Target and all these companies
Got 'em
now.
scrambled.
They're coming together to try to figure out a plan to beat Amazon. That's how bad it is for them because they're closing down stores and closing down retail, and people are going to lose jobs.
Yeah.
And he's not even paying the people who are doing all this good work for him. Because without these warehouses, he's nothing.
I think Amazon pays
Like
$15,
I think they went to
$12
15,
an
but
hour.
I believe it's this 9. I'm gonna
I
stay
think-
at 9.
I think they went to 15.
You think
But
they
I
went
think
to
they went to
15?
15.
I
but
think they went to 15.
But it's still,
Did they pick? Did
They
they have
do
to
a
pick
lot.
it to get the 15?
it was a situation.
Yeah, I think they did have to strike to get to it though.
I don't remember for sure everything, but it's a disgrace.
Yeah.
We're doing too in this country. Everybody believes they're going to be rich tomorrow. You're not.
It ain't.
You're not going to happen, man.
No.
You're not going to be rich if you was born poor.
Yeah.
You're going to die poor. The chances are that's what's going to happen in this country. You're not going to be a millionaire, man. The American dream has been dead. Or like the boy said, George Carlin, is the only time you see it is when you sleep because it's a dream for real. It's not. It doesn't exist. So, hey, man, we got to think that for this country, the amount of money that we're going in the hole on our budget and our deficit, it's gonna kill us in a little while, man. And we're gonna have to raise the taxes. And Bernie Sanders and Warren, hopefully one of them two win. Biden,
You think Warren good?
It'd be a nice little ticket.
I
though.
would like one of them.
Definitely.
to win.
Warren Sanders. It'd be a
Mhm.
nice little
Yeah, that
ticket.
would. You know,
You think they'll hook up? Warren?
I would like to see that.
yeah,
I think the whoever the top two candidates are, if the whoever the first person that goes on to win it, they should pick the second person that was
Yeah,
underneath
but
them.
they don't normally do that for
They
some
don't.
reason, man.
they don't.
I'm like, but in you think about it, it makes sense because
Right.
They done got
I
all
think it's
the
a
most
power.
votes.
It's a
Right,
power thing.
right.
It's a
Yeah.
power thing. And
Yeah,
because
they don't
last
like it.
time Hillary, she messed up by not getting a black VP.
Or
I thought that was
Bernie.
terrible.
Like,
Yeah, or Bernie.
was
Right.
runner up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Bernie.
That's
Right.
what she should have had on her ticket. Because
Yeah.
if Clinton would have had Bernie on her ticket as VP,
Probably would have changed. the game.
That would have got a lot
Yeah,
more
it would've-
voters.
every-
everybody that was a Bernie voter then would have voted Clinton just to get the Bernie.
Yeah, that's facts.
And the people stayed home.
Mhm.
So
I
it didn't
waited in
happen
a
home.
4-hour line.
Now, hey man,
that
Oh
election.
my
I vote.
God.
Yeah, I waited in a
Early
4-hour
Early
line
vote?
that year.
early vote.
Early vote?
I've
Early
never-
ballots.
Early
will
ballot.
Not ever not do an early vote
Definitely.
ever again.
Yeah, man, do the
Yeah,
early
waiting in
ballot
that
because we
line.
do. But that's the link perspective. We want to talk
So-
about that
Most
today.
definitely,
So
most definitely,
Definitely.
most
thanks everyone
We up here.
for adding in on that.
Guess we're gonna go ahead and
We up here.
I see a couple people and started munching in on
I
today's
didn't
meals.
show
So
the people. I didn't show the people already.
I was hungry.
Neighbors over here grabbing meal of the week right here, Pinwheels.
pinwheels with turkey and cheddar,
Definitely,
a
definitely.
little bit of
definitely.
cream cheese.
No, they good,
Man.
man.
Great show. It was definitely a great show.
Definitely. Want to thank Shomari for coming through.
Yes, yes.
That maple and honey turkey. It makes it all the more. It
Now,
makes
what
it juicy.
kind of turkey
I
is
used
it?
to do
Boar's
all
head?
that. Everything.
No,
Thanks, Mom.
surprisingly, I'm gonna tell you something.
What?
It's store bought turkey.
Oh man.
I didn't go to the deli.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we like to go to the deli because that's
Yeah, I
got the
like
best
the deli,
turkey.
I like that's why I
Wow.
usually go to the deli.
I'll be like, womp
But-
womp.
It was dark last night, and I need glasses to dry. So
Or a little quick fix, a
Right, right, right.
little party tray
got-
or something.
got all
You
that
good?
shit.
Nobody will know.
No, I'm talking
I didn't know until you said
Yo,
that.
when you do the
You make
middle
your own with
But
the
see, you know, he
with
knows
the,
the difference, he
With
can
the right
tell.
turkey on the
Yeah,
side.
I go with the right thing. It was a great show.
but that white cheddar
Definitely.
sets it off too, though.
Yeah.
All right. Definitely was a good show.
And
Yeah.
Definitely.
thank you for everything that you do for the community, boss man. You definitely a role model.
Thank you,
Kids
thank you,
and,
man.
It makes a difference. It makes
Definitely.
a difference.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Especially on the south side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah,
it. We need
yeah,
it.
man.
Mm-hmm.
We out here.
Saying. This DanYo&Tita podcast. We out.
See y'all next week.
Like
Holla,
the page.
holla.
Peace.
You already know what it is.